Hey guys, Brian Hilliard here, author of the best-selling book, Networking Like a Pro, and creator of the popular program, How to Get Higher Paying Coaching Clients Without Being Pushy. And I gotta tell you, I am fired up here today because we are gonna talk about what you can say when somebody says that they can't afford your rates. And I gotta tell you, I started my practice in 2001, and boy, I remember I just had a devil of a time talking to people who could actually afford my rates. I would be sitting down with people, I would be going over stuff, making a lot of sense, if you don't mind me saying. They would be like nodding their head, they're taking notes, they're nodding their head, I'm making good points. I talk about the money, and then they're like, "You're great, but I can't afford your rates." And I'm just like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do to get in front of folks that actually have the means and the money to be able, and the desire really, to be able to want to work with me and can afford my coaching rates. And that's why I work with a lot of coaches and consultants to help them build an audience and get higher paying coaching clients. Because to be honest with you, I found that I ran into a lot of people who had a world-class training background and a strong commitment, but they just didn't have the right tools and processes in place to help them attract more people who can actually afford their rates. So what I do is I put together a step-by-step game plan to help coaches get higher paying coaching clients without being pushy, salesy, or otherwise over the top. And one of the things, like I said, that we're going to talk about here real quick is what can you do? How can you approach this after they say, you know, you're great, but I can't afford you? One of the things I always tell people, and this is I think it's really helped me a lot, is I make sure that I have another offer that I can go to. So for sake of discussion, I don't like the idea of just having one-to-one sessions with people. So I can do one-to-one, but I can also do a small group. I have a membership program, an online training and membership program. We have a boot camp. So there's a number of different ways that I can work with people, okay? So when somebody says, well, I can't afford your rates, I've, maybe approached them, just for sake of discussion, let's say that I approach them with my one-on-one, and they're like, you're great, but I can't afford that. And I'll stop, I'll say, hey, you know what? That's totally not a problem. And I'm not trying to convince you of anything here, but let me just ask you, when you say you can't afford, obviously that's the money issue. In terms of the content and what we're gonna be talking about, like, does that actually help you move forward? Let's forget about the money just for a second, but the content, is that in line with what you're looking for? And most of the time people are like, oh, yeah, as a matter of fact it is. I say, all right, listen, if you can't do the one-on-one, remember the example. If you can't do the one-on-one and the rates there, we have a small group, okay? And we also have a membership program, meaning that you can do, and I go over the small group and what that looks like dollar-wise, and the membership program and what that looks like dollar-wise. And I'll say, listen, do either of those maybe work for you? So just to give you a calibration, the one-on-one, I'm just making up a number, might be, $1,000. I'm just making this up, okay? One-on-one might be $1,000, and maybe the small group might be $500, and the membership, like the boot camps and stuff like that, that might only be like, I don't know, $100. I'm just trying to calibrate you, 1,000, 500, and 100. So what happens is I will actually make a counter offer, for lack of a better term. I will make a counter offer to people for a service or product for a lower amount. And I've had a lot of times where people are like, yeah, you know what? I can do that. Put me down for the, membership program at, $30 a month or $40 a month. Or, yeah, you know what? I can do the small group for, a couple hundred versus before you were talking about maybe in the thousands. I can do some of that stuff. But the important thing is that you say right up front, after they say that, well, listen, not a problem. And I'm not trying to convince you of anything. Sure, not a problem. And I'm not trying to convince you of anything. Just so I understand it, are you saying that it's the, I know you mentioned about the dollars, but is it assuming the dollars go off to the side for a second, was the content close? And if that's not right, then that's fine too. But is what I was talking about, can you see that being beneficial? Usually they say yes, then you go and you make another offer based on the lower price point, and you go from there. All right, so if you want to talk about that a little bit more and talk about how that works in your practice, that is not a problem. As a matter of fact, I do a 15-minute laser coaching session with folks, all right, where we took 15 minutes and we talk about yourself, your business, and different ways that we can move your practice forward, okay? And don't worry, this is not some sales pitch in disguise, so I'm not trying to, you don't have to buy anything or anything like that. We're just going to talk a little bit about yourself, your practice, and what it is that you can do to be successful. And obviously, if there's some resources or some ideas and stuff that I have, I will point that in your direction. Where you can go for that is practicebuilderblog.com/talk. All right, that's www.practicebuilderblog.com/TALK. And you can just take a look at the schedule, sign up, not a problem. The other thing you could do if you want is you can swing on by our free Facebook group. It is, you have to go to Facebook obviously, and it is How to Get Higher Paying Coaching Clients Without Being Pushy. All right, you plug that in, make sure to find the groups section right there. Bing, bang, boom, put it out there, and I will get you in. So there you have it. But in the meantime, my name is Brian Hilliard, saying so long, take care, and thank you for your time.